We'll do it live.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Brinson. I'm your host. We're recapping a thrilling Monday Night Football game that many people around the world, across the globe, complained about because it was not good football. But what were you expecting? Because I'm not sure if you guys are aware, it was Geno Smith versus Jameis Winston as the Saints beat the Seahawks 13-10. We are live on YouTube, of course. I don't know if you guys have noticed we're sort of talking about, we mentioned this YouTube thing fairly frequently. So if you are listening to this podcast or you're watching on YouTube and you are currently not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Every time you click it, it helps Wilson. It helps Breech pay for a slightly bigger refrigerator to keep whatever he keeps in his refrigerators in his basement. Wilson, Breech, what's up?
Hello. I actually enjoyed this game, and I enjoyed it for one very simple reason, Breech.
Oh my God, you've taken a dark turn into.
Breech and I had the Seahawks covering +5.5, I believe it was.
I did too.
Oh, Brinson too. Great. Finally, I just assumed.
But keep going, Wilson. Keep going. What's the second part of that?
And only me and Breech on this podcast and our buddy Dave Richards picked both the Seahawks to cover. Do we pick the Seahawks to win too?
Nope, the Saints to win.
Saints to win. Gotcha. Okay, so that worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I picked the Seahawks to win. I mean, whatever. Also won real money on the Seahawks, so that's exciting. Wilson,
Brinson, money means nothing in the world of against the spread picks when it comes to wins over Wilson. And if we've learned anything this year, wins over Wilson is now like the default standard that all people should be measuring against the spread picks by.
I'm kind of concerned about Wilson's little veer into this.
His heel turn?
Yeah, it's not even a heel turn. It's like
it's a heel turn.
It's like a guy who, like, you're driving down the highway. You're going from you're on I-40 in North Carolina. You're going from one city to another, and then all of a sudden, this guy just yanks off the highway, like unbeknownst to the rest of his passengers, just whips off on an exit ramp. He's like, "We're taking the side roads now."
Nah, it's like he went to buy a scratch-off lottery ticket, but he had never done it before because it was sinful. Scratches it off, and he won $7,000. So now he's completely addicted to it, and there's no way he's ever going to quit.
Also, yeah. I think that Wilson is getting a little stressed out about these picks because you're like the last 2 weeks. And look, nobody's criticizing your last 2 weeks, certainly not me. But you're like right around 500. And I think you're trying to fight off this crater, and so like you're getting really invested in this. And I would guess that as much as you complain about social media, that you were getting lots of tweets about how hot your picks have been, and you want to stay hot so you don't. Yeah, sure. Hop Scrowlers, Wilson. Somebody on YouTube chat. Hop Scrowlers. If I look at the metrics, the back end metrics, and you haven't, if you're ripping me for the pick show and you hit the like button, I'm coming. Well, I'm probably not going to do anything.
Brinson just got asked in the chat if Wilson can do the Week 8 pick show.
Fair question. Correct. Thank you for that question, Hop Scrawler.
Yes, I'd love for you to do it. Or, you know what we should do? Don't tell Pete and RJ that you're doing it, and then do it.
They probably would welcome the break, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, sure, of course, yeah. Oh, wait, actually, you can't do that because then I have it written in my contract that a absolute maximum number of shows that people can guest host on the Pick Six podcast feed. There's a certain percentage. It's a whole thing. My agent and I hammered it out.
My goodness.
If I had to guess, Breech, it's not a maximum number of shows. It's a minimum number of shows that Brinson's going to do.
It's like the Carson Wentz deal with his playing time, right? If I have to hit certain hosting time metrics. Mm-hmm. But the good news is we've added so many shows on this friggin' daily NFL podcast. I mean, how many shows do we have a week? That we found room to let Wilson host a show.
Finally.
And he's going to host it starting, in 8 minutes, it'll be today because it'll be Tuesday. Starting this Tuesday. If my phone's charging, so it won't tell me what date it is. October 26th, the 2021 debut of the Will Brinson Draft Show featuring Ryan Wilson.
There it is.
In the Pick Six podcast feed. It is actually called the Live NFL Mock Draft Show. Tuesdays, 1 p.m. It is going to be a YouTube exclusive. Wilson will be. I don't think I'm actually involved.
That should tell you whether you're involved or not.
No, really. Normally in a job it would. In our job, I don't think it matters that much.
It's going to be me on Tuesday. It's going to be me, Josh Edwards, and Chris Trapasso.
Awesome. And Wilson, you're hosting, obviously.
I'm assuming, but that's up to Debo. He's the producer. Talking about my latest mock draft, which came out Monday, October 25th, and every pick is juicy. So tune into that.
Jets, Jaguars, Eagles.
A lot of Eagles picks,
not Dolphins.
Two Lions.
Who'd you mock to the Bengals with the 32nd overall pick?
So I'll tell you this. I'll give you a little hint, Breech. It's reverse Super Bowl odds at this point, so they're not 32nd. Oddly, they're 16th, which is clearly not going to happen as we sit here. But I had them taking a tight end, like the best tight end in the draft. Uzama's in the final year of his deal, and I'm just thinking this team.
Who's the top tight end?
What's his name? Jalen Weidermeyer. Did I say it? Yeah, Jalen Weidermeyer. You got me on the spot there. At a Texas A&M.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Got it right.
The Bengals are the 16th.
It's reverse Super Bowl odds.
No, but the Bengals are the 16th longest Super Bowl odds.
Yeah, from the top or the bottom. Take your pick.
I was on the Extra Points podcast today with friend of the show, Dave Damashek, friend of real life, and generally awesome dude, Dave Damashek, and
Steelers fan,
big Steelers fan, and we were talking about over-unders available at I think it was FanDuel, where it's like plus money, and the Bengals was 10.5 over-under plus 130. And we looked at it. The Bengals were just winning 11 games.
Breech tried to tell us. No one listened to him.
Yeah, he did. Actually, Breech said they would win 9 games, so he's going to look wrong and then brag about it. At any rate.
Well, 2 weeks ago, I said the Bengals to win the division at plus 1,600 was free money. No, I didn't say that, but I said you should sprinkle something on it.
Yes.
Sprinkle it.
Hey, I'll tell you what, as the guy who started the Zach Taylor Coach of the Year bandwagon, I am thrilled about the recent developments. Anyway, we are. Oh,
by the way,
we're 7 minutes in the podcast and haven't mentioned.
I'll just say this quickly: the highlight of Brinson's 2021 season is going to be Zach Taylor winning Coach of the Year and him making $15 off of it. That's how sad things have been for Brinson through 7 weeks.
What a big jam!
What
you do, Dunkaroo?
No, look, hey, you know what? I'll go 30% against the spread for the season if the Atlanta Braves win the World Series.
You might do that anyway. So it's not up to the Braves. It's up to you.
I'm just trying to talk myself into the Braves.
Okay. Good luck to you.
Winning the World
and just
Series.
quickly, I'm trying to stave off Pete Prisco at this point. That's my big concern against the spread because he's making his move. But go ahead.
Oh, he is? Oh crap. Yeah, he's chirping about it too. Anyway, so we have a Pick Six podcast store on CBSSports.com, and that means I can stop giving away my personal belongings to people on this podcast, and we can start having responsible human beings ship cool stuff your way. So, Debo, how many likes do we need in the YouTube feed?
150.
Look at that.
150 likes, and you will get that's actually a really nice pint glass.
What's it say on it?
Pick Six podcast. Great graphical marketing there. So if we get to 150 likes, Wilson wants me to finish the show in under 30 minutes. It'll probably be, we'll say 44 will be the time. So hit the like button, and Debo will tell you in the chat what you're supposed to write to be eligible. Once we get to 150, he'll let you know, and you can win that killer pint glass.
And if we don't hit it tonight, we're just going to roll it over until the next live recap show.
But if we do hit it tonight, the more that we hit these numbers, the more likely you are to be able to give away more stuff.
Right. Who knows? I mean, we got hoodies in the store, T-shirts,
and every time
tops.
we carry it over, we're going to add an ounce of tequila to it. Unless somebody under 21 wins it, then we'll add an ounce of orange juice.
We may even give you some Espolón.
By the way, this stuff ain't cheap. If you go to the Pick Six podcast store, you can see that it's
and there's no situation where we're almost 10 minutes in. We have you know what, this game sucked anyway. So hit the like.
I thought it was so bad it was good. I agree with Wilson.
Yeah,
I like the game. It was fine. Anybody who complained about this game, like you walked into a Jameis Winston versus Geno Smith game on Monday night in the middle of October 2021. Were you expecting high level, deep ball passing and tons of offense? Because I wasn't.
I was disappointed.
Kind of got it.
By the way, I don't know if you said it. Saints won 13-10. Do you know who my biggest losers in this game? You guys can go first, and I'll tell you mine. You can do obvious or not so obvious.
the biggest loser in this game?
Yeah,
I'm going to say Jason Myers, the Seahawks kicker, who missed
Oh,
2 field goals.
that's a good one.
One from 44 and one from 53. He's got to be pretty high on the list if he's not
That's
at
a
the
good one.
top, right?
I would go, if I had to go biggest loser, I would say Ken Norton, who didn't see a need to at any point put anyone on Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield.
I thought at least he made an adjustment. The second half, Alvin did less damage, but in the first half, he might as well have been invisible.
He had 8 catches for 100.
Well, I think most of that came in first half. I think second half they sort of slowed him down. But
30 total touches for Kamara. So who's your loser?
you're on the right path in terms of thinking the same thing as me. It's Pete Carroll and or Shane Waldron. Pete Carroll will not go for it on 4th and 1 no matter what. And I get that you got Geno Smith out there, but if you're going to run the ball in the first 3 downs, run it again with Alex Collins or Rashad Penny or whoever. Every 4th and 1, no matter where it is, he's punting, except for when it's a 54-yard field goal that you got to make in the rain because your field goal kicker is not making kicks. And then Shane Waldron he may have been tasked doing this with the head coach's demands is just run the ball and see what happens. And Demario Davis had a Hall of Fame game solely because of Pete Carroll and Shane Waldron play calls that ended like we thought they were going to end. Now look, Geno Smith is not great, but at some point before the last 2 drives, yeah, he was. And that there's CBS Sports HQ put this tweet out. So in the first drive, I think it was the first drive, Geno had the 80.
It was their second drive.
Second drive, thank you. That's right. I think the first one was 3 out. Geno had the pass. By the way, Geno needs to learn how to throw the Russ Wilson deep ball. He's throwing lasers down the field. Little air to the ball, Geno, but the first one laser that DK Metcalf caught.
Shooting a gun down.
It's like, dude, you can see where the guy is, right?
Yeah.
First 1 for 1, 84 yards to DK Metcalf. The rest of the game, 11 for 21 for 83 yards. And that's sort of what it looked like when you watch it with your eyeballs.
Correct. And if you take out that one play for 84 yards, which, by the way, multiple Saints players fell down on the play, which is will make life easier. They had 135 yards. But the kicker to that is when you look at how many plays they ran, 54. If you take out that one play, 2.5 yards per play. I understand the weather was not ideal, but and to your point, Wilson, on the Pete Carroll won't go for it on 4th and 1
ever.
But here's the problem. So the Seahawks are now 2-5. They're 2-5, and they're in big trouble. And their first round pick is going to the Jets, by the way, who I don't know if you know this. Geno Smith played there and once got punched in Florham Park. This Seahawks roster, when Russell Wilson is not active, it ain't that much better than the Lions. Like, seriously.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got me. I mean, I don't even have much.
I mean, they have Jamal Adams, who's a very good player, but costs a lot of draft picks and is on a huge contract. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are great. It's better. But if you have Geno Smith and you're up against a Saints defense that is top 5 in DVOA and just top 5 in traditional stats and generally playing well, why would you not be like outlandishly aggressive in the way that Dan Campbell was against the
Rams? I was actually going to say, and maybe this is a hot take, I would take Dan Campbell right now coaching the Seahawks over Pete Carroll, just because I know he's going to like, you know what? Let's see what happens. Is that crazy?
I don't think that Pete Carroll's coaching style is fit for 2021.
I agree.
And this roster.
Thinking that the whole time.
I feel a little bit like I understand Carroll's line of thinking here. It's like we do not want to put this game in Geno Smith's hands because we saw what happened the last 2 weeks when it's crunch time and we need him to come through with some points is he does something bad and we lose the game. But that being said, if you don't want to put it in Geno Smith's hands, you can't run the ball 40 times or, not let him throw the ball and then expect him to throw the ball 7 straight times on the final possession of the fourth quarter and somehow magically turn things around when you haven't been able to throw the ball or even tried to throw the ball for that matter the entire game. But the other side of this is that, you guys are sitting here bashing the Seahawks and saying everything they did wrong, didn't cover Alvin Kamara, wouldn't let Geno throw the ball, even though he started the game basically with an 84-yard touchdown pass. Despite all the bad decision-making by Carroll, they would have won this game if their kicker makes 2 field goals.
Yeah, no, that's right.
So you kind of have to look at it from that point of view that I don't think the Seahawks are as bad as the Lions. I think maybe Dan Campbell would be a better coach for this Seahawks-led Geno Smith team.
Yeah,
but
no,
we're talking about a team that lost the Steelers by 3 in overtime and Geno Smith's first start in 4 years. And I know, Ryan, you don't think the Steelers are that good, but it's still Geno Smith's first start in 4 years. And then coming and making the second start against a Saints team that was a 4 or 5 point favorite. And again, if their kicker doesn't melt down, they win this game.
And I think that's probably what Pete Carroll's going to tell himself this week when he continues to be the same way he is.
Which is a problem. That's true. So
because look, Geno Smith, I get it. Be conservative. I get it. You can do Dan Campbell and you're still going to lose by 3 to 9 points. Fair enough. But he does it. That's why Russ was so angry over the last 18, 24 months or whatever. Because
last 9 years.
They weren't letting Russ cook, in part because they're running the ball a lot with Schottenheimer, and also because they always punt on 4th down. And I don't know why you would punt on 4th and 1 at your own 39 or 40-yard line when you know this is going to be a game that's going to be incredibly close and the weather's going to be crappy, and you can just run the ball. You can run the ball for a yard. You can't run the ball 4 times in a row and expect to continue to get first downs.
Just to keep the bingo thing going, and to generally play devil's avocado.
Ooh,
I do get, like, this is again. I'm not trying to summon the Thursday night Browns Broncos game or anything, but I mean, it was a 3-point game, right? So it was a really close game. It didn't feel like the Seahawks were going to win.
No,
but the Seahawks defense played really well in this game.
They did,
relative to their talent level, and that's the thing. If Pete Carroll, I don't know. I mean, I think he should have been more aggressive, because your defense, if you're aggressive on 4th and short and get it with your offense and can keep moving the ball and keep the Saints defense out there, it's going to fire up your defense.
Oh, let me ask you guys this. There were 2 4th and 1s in the game for the Seahawks. 4th and 1 from their own 35-yard line on their opening possession. Would you have gone for that?
That one was
your own 35.
Yes, probably.
Yes, and you know why? And I don't have it up in front of me now, but there's
a sneak down the middle, and they're going to spot it and give it to you.
There's a guy on Twitter who used to work for the Eagles as an analyst, and I think he is a consultant now. And he said, here's what happens. You don't go for it on 4th and 1 early in the game, but what happens is you have to go for 4th and 4 late in the game because you pass up those opportunities. And I think that's a great point. And I'll look up his name in a second because I want to give him credit. Yeah, you go for it on 4th and 1. What's the worst that happen? You don't get it, and then what?
Well, if you don't get it from the 35, you're basically giving the Saints 3 free points. And I think that's what Pete Carroll's worried about, is that Geno Smith is our quarterback. We can't score points. So if we're giving away free points, we're not going to win this game. So if Russell Wilson's your quarterback, Pete still wouldn't have gone for it with Russell Wilson. But if Russell Wilson's my quarterback, I'm going for it in that situation. With Geno Smith, I'm on the fence. I don't really have a problem with him punting. The other 4th and 1 was also from the 35-yard line. This one came in the 3rd quarter. The Saints were up 10-7. So you're trailing 10-7. You're at your own 35, 4th and 1. What do you do?
Go for it.
What was the score again? Sorry.
The Seahawks were trailing 10-7, and they were at their own 35-yard line. And this was like a 4th and real one. The one the first quarter was like 4th and a half yard.
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it felt like they had more opportunities at 4th and 1. I guess they kept getting sacked and falling back. It is tough. And by the way, I mean, Sean Payton kicked on 4th and 3 on the 3-yard line because points are hard to come by, and both Peyton Manning and Tom Brady agreed with him. Now, analytics would have said go for it and be aggressive.
But here's the thing: Sean Payton goes for it on 4th down sometimes. Pete Carroll never does.
Yeah. No, that's fair. This is not a 4th and 1 on the 35 is a tough argument to make against going for it. The problem is that Pete Carroll never goes for it.
You know exactly what's going to happen. And we say this all the time. Here's how you decide if it's a good decision. You wonder, how's the other fan base reacting to the other team?
Correct.
Oh, great. The punt team's coming on. Excellent. Ryan Paganetti is the guy I was mentioning earlier who made that note. And by the way, the last time someone said that Pete Carroll was being too aggressive was when they threw that friggin' interception in the end zone of the Super Bowl. And after that, he is turtled up.
Flipped the switch in his head. And now he's like, we're running all the time. And that's the other thing about Sean Payton's field goal is that he literally went for it on 4th down twice on that drive. So he understands the numbers. And at that point, you get down there, you're playing to, at that point, your team has not scored at all. You can't leave with 0 points, especially when neither of these teams have proven they can score up to this point. And Peyton looks like a genius because his team won by 3 points in a game where he was willing to take the 3. If again, you have Drew Brees there, maybe you go for it, but Jameis Winston's your quarterback, you take points.
You know, it's funny.
And to Ryan Pagnetti's point, I believe that it wasn't the final play of the game, of course. Scroll up a little bit, Devo, to show what he said. Obviously, the Saints kneeled twice. But the final play of the game was Geno Smith chunking a play up in the air on 4th and 28 from the Seattle 7.
And Ryan wrote at the end of his tweet, watch Seattle instead have to go for it on 4th and longer than 1 later on. 27 yards longer.
27 yards longer.
So that's
Geno is
not good. What I noticed just from eyeballing it, I mean, I just watched the same broadcast as you guys did. It seemed like he would lock onto either DK or Tyler. If it wasn't there, he put his head down and either ran, took a sack, or made a bad decision.
Yeah, I mean, the second missed field goal from Jason Myers, you can put on Geno Smith because he took, that shouldn't have been a 53-yard attempt. If Geno Smith just throws an incompletion instead of taking an 11-yard sack, all of a sudden that field goal is 42 yards, much more makeable because the wind was crazy. It was not an easy night for kicking. Anything beyond 40 yards is a crapshoot. And so instead of trying a 42-yarder, Myers has to try a 53-yarder because Geno's just taking these horrible sacks you can't take. And maybe that's another reason why Carroll was afraid to throw the ball.
I guess, but I mean, look, I can't blame you for having a backup quarterback who's well below replacement level because they're hard to find. But I mean, there's a reason that the Jets just traded for Joe Flacco when they cut every veteran prior to the start of the season. And Mike White played okay, but certainly not something you can move forward with while Zach Wilson's hurt for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I muted myself, sorry. I'm not sure that the Seahawks are terrible.
You're in a bad decision.
Without Russell Wilson. This is unfortunately for Pete Carroll and John Schneider, the argument for what it's like Russell Wilson's like, hey, look, I need more input. We need, not that he would fix the roster or anything, but you take Russell Wilson off of the Seahawks and put Geno Smith in. I mean, I think even if you put Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins winning this game for the Seahawks?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. All right. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
The offensive line, by the way, we're crushing Geno.
Geno Smith's trash. Offensive line was good. St. Stevens is good.
The center, I think Kyle Fuller's his name. He had a tough evening, and I would imagine he's not going to be looking forward to rewatching this game with the coaches and his teammates because he got abused often up the middle, and that one of the I think the sack that set up that long field goal attempt that you were just talking about, Breech, was the center getting absolutely destroyed.
Straight up, yeah, it was bad.
The whole game was bad. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll wonder. We'll answer the question: are the Saints the weirdest NFL team?
My mom used to live here a long time ago.
She's still here.
What did you say? What the hell?
Activity, next of kin, rated R, streaming October 29th, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
I think the Saints honestly give me more confusion. Like, I mean, 1 week they're dominating, 1 week they ghost you. Like they're like you don't know whether they're wearing, they're like a paranormal team or something like that. It's very bizarre. At any rate, they they beat the Packers 38-3 in week 1. They lose to the Panthers 26-7 in week 2. They crushed the Patriots 28-13 in week 3. They lose to the Giants at home 27-21. And by the way, that was their first home game of the season post-hurricane that we thought they would smash the Giants because
they were up 21-10 with 7 minutes left against a bad Giants offense.
Very correct, Breech. They go and crush Washington on the road 33-22. Take a bye and then score 13 points against a miserable Seahawks defense. I think that I think I was trying to justify this earlier today, but I think I was trying to blame the Saints specifically for my poor picking against the spread. Or maybe the Saints and the Titans. One side on those two teams are screwing me up because I'm obviously being facetious here, man. But like, are the Saints good?
Let me put it to you this way. You and Breech both. So I think we'll all agree that the Cowboys, the Packers, the Buccaneers, and either the Rams or the Cardinals are going to win the division. So that leaves,
and the other NFC West team will make the wild card.
Right. Yeah.
Rams or Cardinals are both making the playoffs.
No, I thought you meant like San Francisco. I was like, okay.
No. I meant 2 teams from that division.
That's right. So we have
that's 5 slots. You have
That's
5 1-win teams and the undefeated Cardinals.
So then that leaves the Vikings at 3-3,
Mhm.
the Saints at 4-2 now. The Falcons are 3-3. I mean, we could put Debo's Eagles in there if you want to make them feel good.
No.
They still might make the playoffs. Like, who else is going to challenge them?
The Saints are going to make the playoffs.
Oh, okay. Well, you're asking if they're good, so they're good enough to make the playoffs.
I mean, who made the playoffs to the Washington football team made the playoffs last year for the.
Well, they wanted the division. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like bad teams make the playoffs all the time, especially when you have 14 of 32 teams making the playoffs.
The Bears were the bad team that made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
8-8.
That's true too.
Are they
the
9-7? 8-8,
Are the Saints better than the Vikings? They won 8 games, I think.
They're like similar.
No, they won 9 games. Sorry.
The Saints defense is better than the Vikings. So
But the Viking, it's kind of effed up because the Saints defense is better than the Vikings defense. But the Vikings offense, if you took the Vikings offense and Saints defense,
yeah,
that would be a really good football team.
Then you got something there. Yep. But I mean,
and you don't know what Jameis Winston you're getting. That's the problem. If Jameis Winston shows up and throws 5 touchdown passes like he did in week 1, then you're beating a great team like the Packers 38-3, or throwing 4 touchdown passes against Washington. You're just destroying these teams. They beat Washington 33-22.
I'm gonna throw out that I think the Saints might be the guaranteed 6th team into the playoffs in the
there's hard to find a 7th team that's going to challenge them.
Here are the rest of the contenders, and I'm just running north, south, and what's on my screen division wise. Washington, Philly, and the Giants all 2-5, not ideal. Minnesota 3-3, Chicago 3-4, Atlanta 3-3, Carolina 3-4, San Francisco 2-4, Seattle 2-5. One of those teams has to make the playoffs.
That's the bigger question. I think the Saints are a shoo-in. I mean, I don't trust the Falcons, even though they have the next best record.
You see this? What's the Saints schedule next couple of weeks? They get the Bucks next week, and Tom Brady talked about this on the Manning Cast, which was maybe the best Manning Cast yet. I mean, it just was. There was.
I mean, Marshawn Lynch kept the entire first quarter entertaining. Nobody could get bored watching that.
Bucks at Saints, Halloween night or Halloween afternoon in New Orleans, 3:25 p.m. Central Time. Packed Superdome full of people in weird gear. I don't think it's insane to suggest that the Saints could win that game. After that, they have the Falcons at home the next week, at the Titans, at the Eagles. Oh, then 4 days before the Bills at home, and then the Cowboys after that. So these next 4 weeks are pretty big for the Saints in the sense that if they could somehow find a way to take down the Bucks,
they don't need to though.
Yeah, I don't think they need to.
Don't have to. I'm just saying. All right, fine. Next 4 weeks, go 3-1. And you have essentially probably clinched your spot in the NFC playoffs.
They win 9 games, they're going to the playoffs.
They're the 6 wins on their schedule right now: Falcons, Eagles, Jets, Dolphins, Panthers, Falcons. You win those 6 games, you're in.
Agreed.
You don't even have to win any.
2-2 the next 4 weeks would be fine.
You don't have to beat the Buccaneers either time. You don't have to beat the Titans. You don't have to beat the Bills. You don't have to beat the Cowboys. You literally just win those 6 games I just named, and you're 10-7.
That's right. I mean, don't overcomplicate it. The toughest question is find me the 7th team in the NFC. Like, I don't know who that is right now.
It's just going to be like a Squid Game scramble to see who.
Let me ask you this: whoever the 7th team is in your mind, did they finish above 500?
Maybe not. I mean, you know who my team is.
Yeah, the Kyle Shanahans.
Yep.
That team ain't finished above 500.
I think they're 2-4.
I mean, Atlanta's sitting at 3-3. I have zero faith in them. Chicago's 3-4. Justin Fields is going to have an arm amputated or a leg amputated in the next few weeks.
It's not Chicago.
No, it can't be.
Chicago has not had a game where they've passed for more than 200 yards. That's how bad their passing game is. Yeah, and we're 7 weeks in the season. That's the longest the team has gone to start the season without throwing for 200 yards since 2008.
I'm getting a note from our the control booth here. Really? Yep, that does qualify as an official breach dunking on Andy Dalton, the first one in the history of the podcast. Oh, up high, down hard.
Breach dunk.
Breach
Here's
dunking
the
on Andy
thing.
Dalton.
We've just been crapping all over Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. What if Russ comes back and this team wins 8 games?
Yeah, and they get the Jaguars next week. That's why
I don't even think that's a lock. I don't think with Geno Smith as their starter, they're a lock to beat Jacksonville.
But that's why tonight was so important.
Would you rather have Geno Smith next week against Jacksonville or Russ Wilson throwing left-handed against Jacksonville?
Russ Wilson, left-handed.
I'd rather have Russ Wilson throwing an invisible football.
Because at least he'll scramble. He knows when to scramble. He could punt it, do something.
I feel like Tyler Lockett could probably.
It's weird though. Like I'm not sure that these teams fully look at the schedule. Throw that thing back up. I mean, like I'm not sure that these teams fully look at the schedule on like Monday afternoon because Matt Rule of the Panthers. I sat down with Joe Brady. We talked about it. We've got to fix a lot of things. Like a lot of things. Like we're gonna look. I mean, you're 3-4. Your season's collapsing, but you ain't that far out of the play. Debo, if you can scroll up and sort by conference, I think you can. I mean, if you're the Panthers, 3-4 looks like a disaster after 3-0. Yeah, click that conference button right there. For YouTube people, you're just the 10 seed right now, and you're half a game out of Minnesota.
And yeah, but tell me, who are they behind though? That should make them feel good.
Atlanta and Chicago.
Yeah,
Atlanta. Man, this playoff's weird.
So you got to find the quarterback, and
so I think we have. I mean, that's sort of the. New Orleans didn't look good tonight on offense. I mean, Jameis was problematic, but
So there's actually a graphic during the game where Drew Brees averaged 38 passes during the Sean Payton era, at least the last few years of it, and Jameis has averaged 23 this season, so 15 less. He threw 35 times in this game, and to his credit, Traquan Smith had a very tough evening. He had missed the season with hamstring injuries. Jameis was yelling and screaming at him on the sidelines. He messed up the first couple series. He ran the wrong routes and made Jameis look bad. And that's reality. I think he had
Kevin White dropped a really nice deep ball from Jameis, and the next play, Kenny Stills dropped one too.
Yep, an OPI on Traquan later in the game. So he didn't get a lot of help, but you don't want him throwing the ball 35 times a game for sure.
No. It was surprising how well the Seattle Seahawks played in terms of their run defense against the Saints, and very impressive how, not a surprise, Sean Payton's a good coach, but he very quickly pivoted to moving Alvin Kamara out of the backfield and into these option routes as a running back that the Seahawks had no like answer for whatsoever. I mean, Kamara finished with 10 catches, 128 yards and a touchdown. It is robust.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, yeah, Diego says hit the like button, people. I need people to remind me to tell them hit the like button. So you get that. We're probably not gonna get it tonight. We'll get it later. It's tough to get the like buttons during these
the shorter podcasts.
It's not the shorter. It's the midnight. Yeah,
Monday midnight madness.
Yeah, if you're watching the show and you haven't hit the like button, it's right there. If you're on your desktop or your laptop, there's no excuse. It's literally right there. Press the like button. I don't have an
iPhone. Can you just tell Siri to like the video? Can you say, "Hey Siri, like the video"?
Don't be lazy, Breech.
What?
Smash the like button. We're gonna give away pint glasses, and if the more stuff we give away, the more stuff we can give away.
Good one.
I know.
That's what
nailed it.
That was awesome.
Sometimes the English language doesn't need to be complex, Debo.
That should be a drop. That nailed it, Debo.
We know that.
Nailed it. Fantastic.
Yeah. And now the interesting thing about that NFC playoff picture, by the way, I don't think if you're the Seahawks, you can start trading away veterans.
You can or cannot?
Cannot, because you're still in the mix.
I mean, when you look at the list that Debo had up there, they're literally 15th, only ahead of the Lions in the race. But again, when Russ comes back, if he comes back soon, and he didn't commit to anything according to the Monday night telecast, so who knows when he's coming back? But I would imagine sooner than later. It's not too late because we can't find the seventh team. I mean, it's the Bears and the Panthers and the Falcons. But
can we?
But if you're Russell Wilson, the earliest you can come back is the first game after their bye, and your first two games are Packers, Cardinals, and you have to win at least one of those. Like you can't get swept there.
I would say that based on the way that Russ has handled these last two primetime games with his
fake workouts
on the field before, where it's like, I can't believe I'm being televised as he's doing. I think that he, just having watched Russell Wilson for a long time, I'm pretty convinced that he is sure he's going to come back after the bye. Would be my guess right now.
So
That he
listen,
feels- he feels
here's the
confident.
thing. Here's the thing. They have to beat the Jaguars with Geno next week.
That is a
They
big
can
one.
Russ can come back and they can lose to both the Packers and the Cardinals, and they have to be football team, 49ers, Houston, Bears, Lions. That gets them to 8 wins. And I think don't hold me to it. That's a path to the playoffs. There's a path to 8 wins,
There's a path to 8 wins.
and it's doable. It's doable, and you can still lose the.
This is literally what you said about Andy Dalton, the
I
Cowboys.
know it is. I said 9 wins for Andy, which
There's a
clearly
path to 9 wins. I was trying to see if Caesars they take them off during the games. They don't have it. What do you think the Seahawks to make the playoffs are?
I mean, it has to be plus 800.
8-1 to make the playoffs. I would take that.
That's too high.
I think a little high. 5-1, maybe 3.5 to 1, 5 to 1.
3.5. They're 15th out of 16 teams.
Yeah, but I
halfway
mean,
through the season.
The team who's 7 right now.
I know.
They're 500. The Vikings are plus 150 to make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, that makes that I get. What
Yeah,
are
but
the
you get
Bears?
plus money on all these teams. I mean,
What are the Bears?
why would you want to bet the Bears? Over
I don't, but they're a team that's
The Bears
little,
are 6-1 to make the playoffs.
that's what I'm saying. Like the Bears are in better shape than the Seahawks, but clearly not the better team.
The Bears aren't making the playoffs.
No, they're not, but their record is better than Seattle's this year. So I think
the Bengals are plus 10-1 to make the playoffs.
No,
I'm just kidding.
they're
Only 600 to make the playoffs. So dumb, Breech. The Falcons
nobody's
are 3-1 to make the playoffs.
stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, the Falcons. I thought you said the Lions.
No. I think there's a decent chance that if we look at these odds tomorrow, once the Seahawks are posted, and I guess the Saints and Seahawks are factored in, that you might be able to take all the teams fighting for that 7th spot and get plus money on them.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's right.
And I think that would guarantee a profit, right?
All the teams except don't take the Bears. The Bears are not making the playoffs. Don't waste your money on the Bears.
Fair.
But again, like if you look at the Seahawks schedule,
That's
they
very
lost.
simple and stupid of me, but am I wrong? If you bet on plus, no, that's not right. If you can't obviously bet on everybody like 100 plus even money to make the playoffs, you lose money. But I think there's a path.
There it is.
I think you could bet on these teams fighting for the 7th seed and find a way to kind of finagle how much you put on each one that you could guarantee a profit.
You can probably come close to.
Well, like you don't bet on the Panthers. Oh my God, the Panthers are 8.5 to 1.
They're not making it.
49ers 2.5 to 1.
You can't guarantee it, but I think you give yourself a very good chance. What did you say the Vikings were? 150?
Plus 150. Yeah, so you could basically bet on
The Vikings, the Falcons.
Sorry, go ahead, Breech.
Falcons are plus 300.
Yeah, Vikings, Falcons, and I would take the Seahawks over the 49ers, but if you like the 49ers, take the 49ers.
Well, so you bet the Falcons, and you have to pick one of Chicago and Carolina, probably. The Falcons,
No,
San Francisco.
Neither one of those teams are making it.
You're San Francisco is just right there. They're
No, the Panthers and the other team you mentioned.
I agree.
Well, you know,
you
what's
think
funny
Atlanta,
is
San Francisco.
the 49ers and Bears are playing each other this week, and I feel like the loser is basically
Toast.
yeah.
Yep. My 3 teams would be the Falcons, the Vikings, and the Seahawks.
To get that
Seahawks
possible
be
7th
about-
spot.
Yeah.
I mean, if I see a Seahawks 8-1 to make the playoffs, I'm betting that.
Now listen, they have to be the Jaguars.
Well, obviously.
They can lose the 2 games coming out of the bye. I mean, they can lose the Jaguars, but they got to be the Packers. So
Are the
it's up to you.
Falcons going to make the friggin' playoffs?
Oh my God. I was actually just thinking I really like the Vikings, and then I saw their next few games. Their next 4 games are Cowboys, Ravens, Chargers, Packers.
They have the hardest remaining schedule in the league.
I mean, that's
And
insanity.
Pat Pete is hurt.
Yes, he is.
Pat Pete is hurt.
Wilson shedding blood over here against other CBS podcasts.
Got a commenter. Diego wants to bet.
He is hurt.
Diego wants Debo to bet the Eagles to make the playoffs.
What are the Eagles on, Brinson?
Plus $1 trillion.
On the flip side, the Eagles with the easiest schedule left in the NFL, but I would not even take that bet, even though I still think they find their way at 7 or 8 wins by the end of the year.
And they're plus 450, just in case.
That's how low the optimism is sunk on that.
I know.
I see a path to 5 wins.
I see a path to them losing to the
Firing
Lions
Sirianni?
this weekend.
Are they playing the Lions this weekend?
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
see an L.
Did you
Devo,
see
don't
what?
read my prediction story tomorrow, please.
Did you, Brinson? Did you see what Dan Campbell said?
I did not.
I picked the Lions to win by 50 points. Here's what he said today. They lost in a close game to the Rams.
They haven't won a game this season yet.
0-7. He goes, I'm frustrated like anyone would be. I'm frustrated like our players, but it also gives me more motivation and driven anger, if you will, to want to make things right and help these guys as much as I can and help this staff. That's the way I'm cut, man. It makes me want to dig in more is what it does. Maybe I'm stubborn that way. I told the team this before we even started the season, but I'm built for adversity. This is what I do. I've seen it. I've lived it. I've done it. I've been in the high highs, the low lows. I'm ready for this. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on any of these guys. I'm not listening to the lack of talent talk. I don't buy into that. We got more to give as a staff. These players have more to give as players. We're going to find a way to win the game. What do you think Nick Sirianni said today during his pep talk, Debo?
Hey, you want to play rock, paper, scissors?
Why did I put paper out?
I will say, like, we didn't know which way Dan Campbell was going to go in July, August, but we were hoping that it would be sort of Crazy Town. We're getting the best parts of Crazy Town, and I think the players they're
buying in for sure. Now,
sucks.
do you know who they play after their bye, after they play the Eagles?
Who?
Your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Where's that game?
In Pittsburgh.
Wait, so the Lions could be in the playoff hunt here with two gimmies right there. The
I
Eagles
think
and
the
Steelers.
Lions will be a popular pick this
You hit
week.
the wrong button, dummy.
Oh, we missed! An absolute dunk on Debo and Wilson. Good job.
You hit the wrong button. You dunked on yourself.
I almost popped an ice cold there.
Yeah. What were you saying, Debo, before Brinson messed everything up?
No, I think Breech hinted at it, but I think the Lions will be a popular pick this weekend.
I
I'm 100% picking him.
Now the problem for the
We just need Brinson to get on board.
Yeah, that's what you need. Brinson, how much can we pay you to pick the
Eagles?
Lions?
Brinson does not pick cat teams. He's trying to blame it on the Saints. It's cat teams that are taking him down in his ATS picks.
I actually think that the Lions will win. Oh my God! Get out
Thank
of
you,
here.
Dab Colorado.
Dab Colorado in YouTube says last year I followed this podcast and made enough to pay off my credit card. Thanks for the compliment, Dab.
There's
Just
more.
start fading Brinson and making enough to pay off my mortgage. Yeah, seriously.
Oh my God. Wait, I did the math last week, and if you had what was it? If you bet $100
And there is complete elation.
That's a
if you
first.
did a fade Brinson parlay, you could have won $467,000 off a $100 bet. And we could have all just not been working anymore.
Yeah. Then you wouldn't have to give the football back if you're the.
I'm going to toss on YouTube like, why the F didn't you do that? So I picked the Lions and the Eagles. Look, all right, enough about my picks. This is not.
Quit being terrible.
Obviously, I would be doing the same thing if one of y'all was having this 3-week stretch.
Yes, you would be doing it much worse.
Very much.
Daring you. Yeah.
One of us would be crying.
Wilson
You
would be
keep warning us that Wilson's
I don't
fade
care
is
about
coming.
picks. I don't care about picks.
But I'm
The
number
Lions next. I don't know why we're talking about the Lions now. Suddenly,
I have no idea.
the Lions have the Eagles at home.
If they win the next two games, they're in the
No,
playoff
seriously,
conversation.
listen. At the Steelers, at the Browns, who are still pretty banged up.
Yeah, I don't think they're
Bears at home, Vikings at home, at the Broncos. Are we sure the Lions won't win 3 or 4 of those?
No, we're not sure. They're,
I mean, look,
Two max.
and they
Yeah,
also have the Falcons, the Seahawks, and the Seahawks left. So I don't think it would be crazy if the Lions somehow kind of got warm down the stretch and found a way to 5-12 or 4-13 or 6-11. That would be crazy.
6 would be crazy.
6 would be pretty crazy. But I mean, they lost. They could be 3 and.
It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, the 50-yard field goal losses, they weren't going
All
to beat the Rams.
Let's wrap up the podcast. We'll take some questions. Somehow we got to 45 minutes.
Oh my
did
God.
Did we get to our giveaway? Sorry. Next show. Tell your friends. Hit the like button. Could have gotten a pint glass.
Can I get it instead? Since someone
No.
won it? Do I get it?
No.
That's
No,
dumb.
you got enough problems. You don't need it.
Seriously, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the alert button because it all kind of
Get the bell
flows
notifications.
together. It all does an algorithm thing that pushes it forward. So hit all that stuff. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Smell you later. So now we will do some overtime on the podcast.
Well, Molly P is Breech's biggest supporter. I think she commented.
What a
Whoa,
fantastic
hold on.
first question.
We're going to answer Molly P's question. But if you have a question about football, about the game of life, anything else, you can leave it in the chat and we will answer it. And we'll start with Molly P's question in the YouTube chat. I've been a lifelong Seahawks fan, but I think I want to switch allegiance to the Bengals. Breech, is there some sort of ritual I need to perform?
There actually is. First of all, you have to shotgun a can of Skyline chili.
Out.
Which is delicious. Everybody in Cincinnati does that every morning. So if you want to be a Bengals fan, you have to do that. You also have to kidnap Mike Tyson's pet Bengal tiger. Basically reenact the Hangover. That's one of the two. It's just one of the two. You don't have to actually
or stab a live Seahawk.
No.
I mean, I guess that would definitely end her connection with the Seahawks. We don't need to go that far because maybe she needs to get back on the bandwagon. But if Russell Wilson's gone, maybe you permanently want to stay with the Bengals. Yeah. So just go find the Skyline chili, shotgun the can. You're on the bandwagon.
Yeah. I can't imagine many things worse than shotgunning a can of Skyline chili.
Again, like Breech not being able to have a serious conversation. Like if you're the Bengals, you should be begging people to get on the bandwagon because this thing is going to go right over the cliff in about 2 weeks.
Are you kidding me?
The only thing Breech should have said was, "Hey, don't worry about it. No initiation. Jump on board. We welcome you with open arms." And so he's like, "Go to book 2 flights to Cincinnati, kidnap Mike Tyson, eat 2 pounds of chili, and then
Yeah. This is the fraternity that can't be picky. You take anyone who walks through the door, Breech. No hazing. Just join us. What are you doing?
That's absurd.
Tara Darrell is in the chat. I just almost mess up the name. OT question: is there a good pumpkin beer?
No. Next
Yes.
Yes, but I used to be big into pumpkin beers and I'm completely out on pumpkin beers now.
Do you pumpkin IPAs or just normal quotes? Pumpkin
No, they're
beer?
just like the problem is they started coming out with it in August. Now they're all gone. Like they don't even hear. Like at Halloween, I'll drink a pumpkin beer, but I don't.
You know who the expert probably is Debo, who I think is secretly a psychopath because he likes all these crazy flavored beers. What are some of the flavors you like?
Right
Debo?
up my alley.
Are you a pumpkin beer guy, Debo?
Oh, big time pumpkin beer. Even in Florida.
In July, he's chugging pumpkin beers.
The Pump King, fan of the Pump King. Have you had that?
From the Imperial from Southern Tier or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's a little sweet. Tastes like pumpkin
Southern
pie.
Tier, that's up here. That's Southern Tier?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're
Shout out Alex saying it right as I said
Look
it.
at that. Good
yeah,
job,
I like that one back in the day. It tastes like pumpkin pie.
I love pumpkin pie.
It's not very gourdy. It's very sweet, pumpkin-y.
Gordy. You're Gordy.
If anyone gets to Nashville in the next 5 days, because I don't think these pumpkin beers are going to be around much longer, their Tailgate Brewery has 4 different pumpkin beers.
Are you kidding me?
They have a pumpkin spice milkshake IPA.
Come on.
They have a pumpkin seed doppelbock. They have a basic pumpkin ale, and they have a pumpkin cider.
I mean,
my wife made me get the pumpkin flight.
that's
right,
funny.
Debo, next time you're here, man, we're getting the pumpkin beers.
Me, you, Clay Travis. Yeah.
Debo, do you like the sweet pumpkin beers or just any pumpkin beers?
I'm okay with the sweet. I won't say like I'm just.
Obviously, now I have to go buy the best pumpkin beer there is.
Why?
Only made in North Carolina and send it to you. It's
Oh,
called-
God. When is he going to get that?
Probably in fall 2025. Dogfish Head makes a good one. Pumpkin ale. Got a little some cinnamon in it. Cloves.
Can I just have a beer? Why do we got to do this?
Shipyard. If you like the sweet, I think Shipyard's a little bit sweeter, maybe spicier or whatever. I'm just scrolling through pumpkin beers. I've had a billion of these.
You know that Debo likes all these crazy flavored beers, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
What are some of the other flavors you like, Debo?
I like to. I just want to shout out our good friends at Bud Light. They're coming out with eggnog seltzers, and I couldn't be more excited to drink something. I
Love
could
eggnog.
not be more excited.
I love eggnog.
Love eggnog.
I don't know if I want eggnog in a seltzer form.
Well, then you don't love eggnog.
Do you know that the only thing better than eggnog is?
Regular nog? No nog?
What?
Just egg?
Road nog.
I don't know what that is. What's road nog?
It's just eggnog in a cup in your car.
Oh, that is actually really good.
It's fantastic.
That's
and
something.
you like driving to your in-laws for Christmas.
Mm,
and you're
yeah.
so mad about the 7 days you have to be gone, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh yeah, that's right." Lucas Pawlowski in the chat, probably getting the beer before I get my hat.
This
Not
is
wrong.
shout out Harley from Australia. Apparently, we have this obsession with pumpkin beers here.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's a fair point.
I'm
I'm
gonna
with
see
you,
if I can get
Harley.
a picture of this.
I'm with Alex Omer, who says milkshake beers are an abomination. I mean,
Well,
Get a milk-
milkshake beers are milkshake beers, pumpkin beers. Is that the same thing?
well, Breech just mentioned a pumpkin milkshake beer.
And it's also an IPA.
That is disgusting.
It's just too much. It's 10,000 calories. I just want a beer. And
This isn't like a milkshake with alcohol. This is like an actual beer. It's just called a milkshake beer because
Everyone
it's
knows what a milkshake beer is.
okay.
It's a blended, like, thick beer.
No, I mean,
No one thinks it's like a milkshake that someone dumped beer in.
no, that's not what he's saying. I think he's just saying
Yeah, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying that it's not what you're describing either.
it's more flavor than the actual thickness.
Well, they do a lot of milkshake IPAs.
Yeah, that's too much.
Look at this comment, Wilson. Read this. Imagine Breech's poor wife begging him to stop buying canned pasta.
My family loves canned pasta, guys,
No doubt.
and we put all our Cincinnati chili on it.
Breech, if we asked your wife, what would she say is her biggest complaint on a day-to-day basis? Like things she has to tell you that annoys her that you do, that probably annoys me and Brinson on some level.
Stop leaving those dead bodies on our doorstep.
I have no idea. That's a good question. I don't put the baby's diapers away. I just leave them out, change them. I don't do anything with
You
them.
leave the dirty diapers away or the clean diapers?
No, I just, like you put them down to the side and all of a sudden the baby's running around, you're chasing her, and then you just forget about it.
That's not terrible.
It's not.
It would annoy me, but at least he changed the diaper.
Little poop diapers lying all around the house.
Exactly. Some
That's
dads aren't
insane.
changing diapers. I'm
Yeah,
a
at
diaper
least he's-
changer.
At least he's changed the diaper. And by the way,
I've changed a billion diapers. I ain't leaving.
if I had to guess, you probably
billion.
changed
Yeah.
the over/under on the number of diapers Brinson changed during Robbie's.
I've changed a lot of diapers.
One and a half is the over/under. 1.5.
I thought you were going to say 8.
I do know people like good friends of mine who
Brinson.
We're not sure if like at
Good
least
friends.
one guy's ever changed a diaper.
The family nanny changing the diaper doesn't count as you
Does
changing the
not-
diaper.
I
Yeah.
changed a lot of diapers. I will not take
You
this
tweeting while the nanny changes the diaper doesn't count.
Uh-oh, damn Colorado's
Oh,
dunking on
Brinson, when
Brinson.
did you realize your career goal was to pretend to be a sports journalist?
Devo has muted himself and is laughing on the floor
God.
right now.
That's funny. I don't know. Around 2007, when I 14 years ago, when I started covering sports for a living.
I thought you were going to say when you bum rushed John Daly at the Hooters. You got your picture taken with him. Was that Hooters?
It was a Hooters in Greensboro.
Yeah.
The Wyndham. It was a bum rush.
Well, the good news, for
He
Brinson
didn't
is
want to
that
see you.
the pretend sports journalism business is quite lucrative right now. So
I get paid to watch football.
Add the word to the list. Breech pronounces lucrative.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Dab is not being a jerk. I think he's just
He's joking around.
Yeah, friendly banner on YouTube. Right. But I mean, like a lot of times you'll have people who
Oh,
don't
gosh.
love the idea that you get to write about sports for a living and will lash out.
So Daniel Levy has an excellent question. What does the Pick Six Pod think about proposing at sporting events? Cheesy or cute
I'm not.
or other is what I would. Yeah, maybe I'm old and jaded. This is something Breech probably likes. I bet Breech is okay with it.
if the person you're proposing to is also a sports fan and is okay with public proposals, then I think it's fine. So like I realize there's like this public backlash now against stadium proposals.
Oh, there is? I didn't know that.
Those are the two qualifiers though. They have to
Yes.
be a sports fan and they have to know the public proposal.
Or if you met at the same stadium that you're proposing.
Right.
Like you're
So
both at a Mets game or a Braves game or something, and you met there, and 5 years to the day of you met, you propose on the jumbotron. I guess you could pull that. That's a lot of work because there's a lot of work that goes into proposing in the first place. Wilson baked three brownies and left them.
No, I didn't. I bought them at the grocery store and left them out on the counter and went to bed. Let's get it right.
No, but I mean, like proposing isn't cheap. You have to get a ring. You have to plan the whole thing out. The additional layers of planning that require a stadium proposal feels like
That's fine if you're willing to go through it. I changed my mind. I'm okay with it. What I don't like is well, and we don't see this very often, but you see it sometimes on social media. The stage proposal where the girl like says no, and everyone the guy acts like he can't.
Oh,
believe
yeah,
it
that's
happened. That's just a waste of time.
It's like reverse catfishing, or I don't know what you.
Debo, would you propose to Mrs. Debo at a stadium?
That's a hard no.
Debo.
As Carson Wentz throws a touchdown in the Super Bowl to beat
As
the
he
Eagles.
throws a shovel pass interception.
Debo's proposing at the Jay-Z concert.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Patrick K points out in the chat, like proposing in public is unfair. It is. I'm not a fan of proposing in public or proposing at sporting events, but I do think Breech's caveats do apply. If you, and I think I would add mine too. Like if you met in the stadium, if you're both huge fans of the same team, and you have to be really confident to do it. You have to be confident that because you were literally asking someone to marry you, and they may say no.
Well, I think ahead of time if they're going to say yes.
So.
I feel like 90% of the time people do, but I don't know if they always do.
But I mean, I was very confident AK would say yes, but I was still.
Well, I asked my wife's parents first, so I mean that I suppose that they don't have the final say over it, but they, you figure if they're okay with it, then you would imagine
they would pass along the message like, yeah, you probably shouldn't ask. I don't think
we definitely all married extremely stable and normal people, so I'm sure that you would never risk.
Well, no. Rachel can't say that.
Right. Anyway, the point being is the level of anxiety I would get going into a sporting event. You got to go through a metal detector. There's all kinds of complications.
You know what's funny? This is Breech. I find this very interesting. Like the things that Brinson sort of reveals throughout the years we've known him of what gives him anxiety. Sitting in a middle seat on a set, which is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, right. Middle seat on airplane too.
Scary movies. Proposing in public. But he will spend hours yelling and screaming at people on social media and not care about the backlash, like calling people out, telling them they're ugly, like making fun of them. That stuff doesn't bother him. That's what gives me anxiety. It's a weird juxtaposition.
Yeah, I'm a complex individual, Ryan. I don't know.
When you start keeping a list of everything that gives Brinson anxiety.
Oh, I mean, did you? I mean, well, you did obviously, Ryan didn't have anxiety when you proposed. You just
I was asleep. I felt great.
You called it a night. Maybe it makes you a serial killer.
Yeah, there are a lot of serial killer tendencies on this podcast.
Yeah, there certainly are. Debo number one.
Yeah, secretly.
Debo's creeped above. No, I mean, I would say that. I mean, if you're proposing at a baseball game, for instance, because I would think that would be the sporting event you would propose at, not a football game, because it's
you're jumping through a table at a Bills game. You propose while you're in midair.
I mean, you have to deal with like making sure you have the ring, making sure that this, I mean, there's a whole lot of moving parts. I just soon.
Yeah, but you don't get anxious when you're 30 minutes late to leave the house to go somewhere with your wife. Never mind late for a podcast. Like that stuff doesn't give you anxiety. That stuff gives
I'd be getting anxious when my wife, my would-be fiance and I are 30 minutes late to the Braves game, and they've already said, AK, will you marry me on the Jumbotron?
So Diego Manuel asks, what would be the first three things the three amigos, assuming that's us. We'll add Debo, the four amigos, who do if they visit Cancun, Mexico. Well, Breech is getting drunk on the plane, so when he gets there, he's passing out.
Next to the pool.
Next to the pool. Where your floaties in case you fall in so you don't drown while you're passed out.
First thing.
I don't believe in floaties.
So let's say we get there at noon. The first thing I'm probably doing is probably going to the bar. Like a Cancun.
First thing you gotta do is you gotta stock up on supplies that you need.
Oh, that's forward thinking.
I didn't think Brinson would come up with the most responsible take here. My God.
I mean, number one is liquor store. Like
I would just go
to get a bunch of liquor.
go to the bar where they have the half
bottle
pool.
water. Bottle water's key.
Well, they get it at the bar. You go down there, you get lunch, and you just drink until you fall asleep. You pull a Breech. That's what I do.
Once you get drunk, you don't want to deal with going to get bottled water. So you get all the stuff you need until you wake up the next morning, including
someone who has experience doing this. I'm a rookie.
Yeah. You go get your liquor. You get liquor, beer, whatever for the evening. A ton of bottled water because you can't drink the bottled water. You can't drink the water.
That's true. That's something I would end up doing.
You get. I don't know if you get it depends on where you're staying, obviously, but you make sure that breakfast the next morning is nearby or secured.
Golly, you're thinking this through.
Yeah.
Well, then we're at all inclusive.
I know.
I sound like what?
No fun.
I sound like no fun. No, once you secure everything.
No, Brinson's on the right track.
Yeah, what-
I'm going to Cancun with Brinson. If he actually knows what he's talking about here, maybe you need to
What,
host a Cancun podcast.
So do you think is Debo getting off the plane and going straight to the bar? I feel like Debo's going to work out. He's got to do some podcast phone calls. Like he's not Mr. Fun until the sun goes down.
I don't know. If you work out, you're out. I don't know anybody working out on this trip.
You got to stay at the gym the whole trip.
Yeah. No, but now the other thing is too, like if you land at like lunchtime, it is perfectly acceptable to go get lunch, have a couple drinks, and then go stock up on supplies.
I'm going to the pool bar that's half in the water, half out of the water. I'm sitting there.
That's cool.
I'm drinking beer, having a sandwich, probably
And
peeing.
texting Brinson, making sure he's getting the supplies you need.
Don't forget the water. I'm probably peeing in the pool because it's chlorinated. I don't care. I'm not getting up. And then whatever happens, happens.
My God, I am never hanging out with Wilson in a pool ever again.
That's a very general question related to taking a group trip. My point being is that before 5 p.m., I am going to have made one trip to get all the stuff I need to get me through the next morning.
That is incredibly responsible. I wouldn't have thought that far ahead.
Yes. Area man knows how to party.
Yeah. Area, dad bod knows how to party.
Middle-aged dad knows how to. Oh my God. I mean, I've done everyone's peeing in the pool. Sure.
It's chlorinated. It's Mexico. Anything goes.
You're going to get banned from Mexico.
No one swims in those pools. You
Oh
sit
yeah. Can't drink the water, but you can't pee in the pool. Yeah, Devo's putting on like a Hawaiian shirt and walking like doing a little walk around the pool area.
I have visions of.
He's also wearing the goofy hat with the ears.
Devo, what's the series on HBO in Hawaii? I've had visions of that.
Oh, F-Boy Island.
No.
There's more than one.
Oh,
F-Boy Island is actually promoted a lot on HBO.
The
Max.
one with Steve Zahn, the one that just came on. We were talking. about.
White Lotus.
Yeah, I have like White Lotus vibes going on for our trip to Mexico.
Who's you know what? We don't need to give a spoiler.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
It's a good show if you haven't watched it. Any other? I love the details. I love that this is what I'm detail oriented about. It's getting set up.
It's crazy. Like you might end up being the weirdest person on this podcast. Anxious about.
I'll mail you the title belt, Brinson.
Yeah, it's made out of human hair.
It's made out of cat hair. That's what you get for not owning it.
So you tell people it is.
That's a nice mix of fur. Does anybody have any more questions about peeing in pools or stocking? Good question on the what we do. There was a little bit of a reveal there. Wilson's. I'm going to the bar. I'm getting crunked up off 2 blue moons.
2 blue moons, and they better be oranges in them. That's all I'm saying.
And
Also,
I'm dumping tequila in his blue
again,
moons every time he turns his head.
I know this story gets brought up like fairly regularly, but
What are you doing?
He's starting to tell a story and then turns away from the
it was
mic.
this Super Bowl where we first met John Breech, and we met about to dinner. And because John Breech is also a diligent partier, he had gone to the ABC store and bought a half gallon of Jim Beam for the week and had it in his backpack.
I'd never been to a Super Bowl. I didn't know how much I was going to need.
New boss for the first time, and he's like, he came. He's like, "Why do you have that backpack?" And Breech is like, "I just have some stuff in there."
So there's also
a weird question was like, "Open the backpack," and he opens it up, and it's just a half gallon of Jim Beam.
You lived in San Francisco at the time, right, Breech?
Yes.
He lived in San Francisco. He shows up to New York City in January with a backpack full of liquor, no jacket. So I have to give him my jacket, which he still has not returned. He's pulled a Brinson on the jacket. God knows where that jacket is.
Well, the liquor was supposed to keep me warm, and then you guys shamed me into not drinking it that night.
No, you said no. We went out to dinner with Adam Beasley and Damon Amendola, and you said you just set the book bag full of liquor like at the table. In Breech's defense, in the same way that I'm saying this is how I would arrive in Cancun, as we're leaving the restaurant, it's like, oh, we got to go get all this stuff. And Breech is like, actually, I don't. I'm going to go drink this liquor right now.
In my room by myself.
Yeah. Yada, yada, yada.
And then go sell myself on Times Square.
And by the way, I've told this story before too. When I left to leave to go back home before the snowstorm.
That was my yada, yada, yada. Brodsky and
Breech and Brodsky hanging out, drinking $12 beers at 4 a.m. God knows where.
Those that up
worse when you're up like late and you're like, man, we're having the best time in the world after the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden your coworker comes out of the elevator
and he's like, God is
for it. You're still awake, huh?
I know, these 2 numb nuts.
Good one to finish on here, maybe.
Oh, That's a good call.
So here's the
also
thing.
To Tara Darrell's question about Blue Moon. I'm just not a big Blue Moon guy, but
It's
I've
okay.
also- yeah.
I drink it sometimes because it's light.
But it's a wheat. I don't like wheat beers at all.
Oh, I love wheat beers. I don't like heavy beers, and if I'm gonna drink, I don't want to drink a 1.5 IPAs. If I'm gonna have a few pops.
I'm actually drinking less beer ever, or less beer than
Whoa, trying to lose weight, Brinson?
So Victor Garcia asked about Halloween costume ideas for Sunday night. I do not like Halloween. I don't like, especially as a parent. I don't like walking around to people's houses.
the worst as a parent.
I don't like handing out kids at home because you feel like a creep either way. So I'll be traveling for work, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I don't dress up for Halloween. Breech feels like he probably does, and Brinson probably does too.
I dress up.
Debo, I think Debo does too because Debo's still young and he probably goes to Halloween parties to. That's what young folks do.
Demon's dressed up as somebody from White Lotus for Halloween.
I was close.
Oh.
You got the first name, the first word of the
White
title.
What else is white? Is that a show?
I will
White?
be providing no further guesses.
Right. I just dress up as Billy Hoyle every year from White Men Can't Jump.
That's
Oh,
It's my go-to.
And Brinson's dropping the ball if he doesn't dress up as Sourdough Sam, as Victor mentioned in his question.
yeah.
See, here's the thing, Breech, and you'll learn this when you're an actual parent, not a possessor of a small ball. When your children are old enough to tell you what they want to be for Halloween, you then dress up as something like related to what they want to be.
So Robbie probably wants to be Jackson DeVille. That's an NFL mascot.
That'd be awesome.
So you could be an NFL mascot, Sourdough
no.
Sam. And
Robbie-
and AK can be Sir Purr.
No. Robbie is Jackson DeVille, and Brinson should be Urban Meyer. Done.
There you go. Oh, I don't think AK wants that either.
Yeah, I don't want to continue that thought. Yeah.
No, Robbie's going to be a Sussy Baka from Among Us.
Oh yeah, I know the Among Us. I don't know their names.
It's basically looks like a space dude.
What color is he?
Red. We've already got that costume. I'm just told what I'm going to be. I can't. I don't know.
Why do you have to dress up? Is just to be at home?
Although actually, maybe I don't have to dress up because it's Sunday. It's because it's NFL Sunday.
The Lord's. Oh, I thought you were going to say it's the Lord's Day.
No,
I'm dressing up for this podcast.
I guess we have to dress up for the pod, don't we?
There it is. I remember that.
There's our Sourdough Sam.
That's when Brinson had it cut high and tight on both the hair and the beard.
Yeah.
Nice. Just let himself go.
It's sad.
I think I look exactly the same.
No, that haircut's much tighter, and the beard is trimmed.
I mean, I
up.
got my hair cut a week ago.
All right, don't take it out with me. The hair plugs are out of control. What do you say?
We're
So, Breech, what are you dressing up as? You're 100% dressing up.
Well, I've got two. Are we allowed to dress up on HQ? I've got a Sully costume from Monsters Inc. That's our family.
Oh, you wear that annually?
No, just this year.
Oh,
we have a
okay.
kid.
I think
you
you
guys
meant
remember, by the way, the I guess it was before HQ, but it was like CBS Sports Live or whatever.
yeah, you dressed up as Wilma or Fred or something?
Yeah, I showed up down in Florida for my weekly video show with Dave, Jamie, and Joey Taylor. And they're like, here's the good. So we're all dressing up as a group costume. And Jamie's like, Dave and I have taken the two men's costumes, and you enjoy me wearing dresses on stage.
And you wore it.
And it was fantastic. It was very
And you said yes.
So you're Sully this year,
kind of
Breech?
amazing. You got your shoulders are out there. You feel very cool.
Sully from Monsters Inc. And my
Is that
kid
like is that a zip up costume? It must be, right?
it is a zip up costume.
So it's probably 1,000 degrees in there. All right, what
But my
else?
daughter's like a dead ringer for the little Boo girl.
Oh, yeah.
So like that's
That's
why
good.
we ended up doing it.
I thought you said
I
you had
might be
two
like
costumes.
Shaggy from Scooby Doo this year, maybe.
There it
we
is.
go. Wow,
Wow,
good.
look at Debo.
Oh my god, it's the most comfortable I've ever been on that set. Just my
So,
shoulders exposed.
Joey is Betty, and then Jamie is what's
Looks
his
like
name?
a
Bam
pregnant-
Bam. Not
Barney
Bam Bam.
Rubble.
Barney, yeah.
Come on, Wilson. This
And actually,
cartoon
I
was
ran a-
on in your childhood.
It
I
sure
ran a
was.
49640 in that dress.
Yeah, that I believe. Why do you got jeans on? It's not selling it all the way.
But you can't see underneath the table.
Yeah, but
But
Wilma
we can
didn't wear-
see in this
We're on
picture.
set.
Yeah.
We're on set.
Wilma didn't wear jeans.
Maybe you just wear like underwear.
I don't know what
Underwear
Wilma
and a
wore.
dress. You
You
know what
could have
happens
worn
to people who do
athletic
that?
shorts.
Breech is Tiger King. I
I
love
could
that.
be the
Victor.
Tiger King.
I wasn't told about our costume until I got down there. Breech could be Guy Fieri. That's a good one.
I could do that too.
Yeah. You got to wear the mirrored sunglasses and bleach your hair and yell and scream.
I do think we should
good at
probably
those
dress up
things.
for the podcast. Do you guys? Do you want people want us to dress up on Halloween?
I've got a
No.
Zorro costume.
Yeah, well, so you got to dress up.
You're looking at. I'm going to go as a Syracuse fan.
Halloween night, man. Come on.
Represent.
What are you, Dino Babers?
That's a good one. I can be. Sure. I can be Dino. I can be Jim Boeheim. They don't have a baseball team, so I can't be that person.
I'm trying to find. AK has told me that I'm going to be something, and I'm not.
Devo, are you going to a Halloween party that you have to dress up for?
I think so. Saturday.
Are you going as your fallback? You know, goes Woody Harrelson?
I truly do not have a plan yet. I gotta.
Does
concoct
anyone know
something this
who
week.
that character is when you go to these young folks?
It's real hit or miss, but I really appreciate the people that
I
do.
like it. Yeah. So all right. So this is actually an interesting one. So obviously NC State played on Saturday, lost to Miami. Oh my God, Dab Colorado. Wilson be going as a wet blanket. Oh!
Yeah.
Man, slinging daggers in the YouTube chat.
No, Dab ain't wrong. I'm fine with that.
He's not wrong. We're gonna actually have a wet blanket shipped to Stanford, and Wilson's got to like just wear.
I got a wet blanket. I'll bring it.
So my buddy Garrett is going. So anyway, State lost last week, so people are kind of down. He had planned to go Saturday night to the State game in a full werewolf costume. Should he do it or no?
Why wouldn't he do it?
Well, if we're playing Louisville at home, if you lose, I was picturing him like sad walking out of the stadium, like Jordan.
Oh, he'll be the fan that put all the face paint on.
He's a guy in a werewolf costume, like
Yeah.
limping out of the stadium, so sad. But if you win, it's like a dance party and a guy's in a werewolf costume. So it just all depends.
I feel like if you wear it.
I think you wear it.
What do you have to lose besides your dignity?
That's right. Exactly. That's a perfect way to get out of this podcast and pretty much any podcast on this podcast feed. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button if you're listening late. Hit that subscribe button. I'll
See you in
1
11
p.m.
hours.
tomorrow. 1 p.m. tomorrow for the draft show.
12 hours away.
Come early. Stay often. Wilson's hosting. Bye.